How's it going, everybody? Matt Borey here from the American Casino Guide book here with a special guest today, our Las Vegas expert, Anthony Curtis. How you doing today, Anthony?
Good, Matt. How you?
No complaints here, no complaints. Well, my only complaint is I haven't been out to Vegas in a while. I got to make it back out there.
Yeah, it has been a while, right? Last time I remember, we went to the Golden Tiki.
Yes, sir. My favorite bar in all of Vegas. So,
Yep.
anyways, it's we're recording this February 4th, 2025, and we're talking about new goings on in Las Vegas. Um, Before we start, though, I wanted to mention if you're not familiar with Anthony Curtis, he's from the Las Vegas Advisor newsletter, and they put out annual coupons every year. We sort of had a friendly competition when we used to have the guidebook. He, however, is still doing his coupons, and you have a fantastic collection of coupons this year, right?
Yeah, it's really strong. We are real happy with it. We lost the only thing we lost one casino, Oyo. Or okay, who cares? And I mean, it's funny. The reason we lost them is there was some sort of internal takeoff of money that they used our coupon book for, where they
Oh
were
no.
charging things off. So we got blamed for that as if it were our fault. But we got rid of them, or they got rid of us. Either way you want to look at it. Brought on, several new ones, including Silverton, which we haven't had for a long time. We dropped a little bit in the gambling coupons, but our gambling coupons in here are still worth, is the numbers, $498 is the total EV on that. $55 worth of that is complete free play. So
Oh,
think about
awesome.
it, right? It's $50 to join, and the gambling coupons alone, free play, no risk. We got 55. We always like that.
Yeah, you
Um,
were always better at getting the gambling coupons than us. And if you want to, you're interested in getting those coupons, we have a link to it on our website. If you go to AmericanCasinoGuidebook.com, you'll see a menu at the top, hover over casino coupons, and then just click Las Vegas coupons, and that'll put you right where you, about halfway down the page, there's a link to get that book straight from him.
right. There's more information there. We've actually put up a YouTube thing we did where we explain the book and the money, the money coupons the big one in there is the 2-for-1 buffet at the Palms. And that
Oh,
includes
wow.
their lobster buffet. That's an $80 buffet. So, buy one, get one for you and your wife or husband, friend, whatever, or 50% off for you. So the $80 buffet comes down to 40. So it's pretty strong, man.
Oh, that's good that they gave you the 50% off by itself.
Yeah, a lot of people ask for that. They don't realize, that the casinos they don't want to do 50% off. They want to do 2-for-1 because they want two bodies. And I
Hmm.
get it. And people complain about that. And I go, it's business. I mean, they are trying to bring people in the door and they're giving you something for it. So you got to let it go.
Yep. And you got anything else going on your end? You also have make a lot of gambling books. You got coming out soon?
We got two coming out real quick. One of them's called Advantage Players, written by a guy named Michael Kaplan. Kaplan writes for the New York Post. He writes for Cigar Aficionado, Esquire, New York Magazine. I mean, he's a real high-end guy, but he's the one mainstream journalist that was sort of granted um, a pass to come in with the advantage players. So
Mhm.
people like James Grosjean and John Chang and all these guys who would never have anything to do with the media have made nice with Kaplan.
Mhm.
And Kaplan's got stories galore about all the different things they did. And it's not just about gambling, it's about all kinds of things in life. There's stuff in there about some strippers who you do things in a different way. There's some one called the Phone Freaks, where these guys were ripping off, not really ripping off, just gaming the telephone system. It's good. It's coming out soon. The second one's called Breaking the Slot Code, and that one is about the advantage slots that are out there.
Oh,
And it's
awesome.
the first true real book. We've done a couple. We did Gambling 102, which had a chapter or two on these. They're called persistence games.
Yeah, perceived persist or no, excuse me, not perceived persistent. But that's the fake one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they call them persistent. So the ones that don't really get to a point where you're in an advantage state, they
Uh-huh.
call those perceived
Yeah.
persistence because it's not real. But we had a couple chapters in Gambling 102, but this is a full book, something like 24, 25 games. And
Oh, awesome.
I'm pretty sure that we're going to do, in fact, I'm almost positive that we're going to do sister website, companion website to Las Vegas Advisor that is going to be only about the, playing the slots. We've got
Hmm.
something like 200 videos, unbeatable games that we're going
Oh,
to put
that's
up. And
awesome.
that's coming soon. That'll be up by this summer.
Awesome. Well,
So
on to the Las Vegas stuff now. I guess my first question I always ask is, how is business?
business, well, yeah, I'll tell you what, there's one more thing I want to promote. There's
Hmm.
one more thing, all right, because I think it's pretty wild. We just did it, and that's our YouTube channel where we just had on it's the Super Bowl week. So we had on Frank B and Fezzik, two of the biggest names known in the sports world. They haven't been on a show together in years, if not decades. And we had them both on. We just cut it this morning. It's going to drop. I don't know when your show's dropping, but this one's going to drop on the 6th.
Oh, mine will be out as I'll put mine out the same day and I'll put a link to it down in the bottom.
Cool. It's going to be, I mean, everybody who's into sports knows these guys into sports betting. And we had a pretty lively conversation. So, anyway, okay, there's all my agenda out of the way. Um, Here's the thing about business, and I assume you're talking about business in Vegas for the
Yeah.
casinos.
Hmm.
They have gone, the strip has gone now 5 or 6 consecutive months with declines in year over year comparisons. Now, the entire state off back and forth, but still booking more losing or dropping, declining months than they have in years and years. And every time this happens, the casinos take note right away and they start reacting with things like lower room rates. They don't raise prices as quickly and as fast. And we're starting to see a little bit of that. So if things don't turn around for them, I think we're going to see more of a bargain stance in Vegas in the next couple of months because it's been not like super significant, like everything's like plunging, but consecutive months where they're just not doing what they were doing before, and they don't like that.
Well, it's about time because it's they've been going gangbusters since COVID, and their business models have shown that because they have not been given anything to anybody. So
Well,
hopefully they finally get back in the customer service business.
yeah, well, it ain't over yet on
Mhm.
that because I mean we did a study for this issue of the Advisor, the February issue, and we found since the new year, 29 casinos have raised their resort fee.
Wow.
29 since the start of the year. Now, that was already planned, so they weren't going to reverse course on that. But
Mhm.
I got a feeling we might see them slow down a little bit, holding the reins. It's like now, it used to be all of a sudden last year, somebody went over $50 for a resort fee. Now it's the absolute norm on the strip. You almost can't find a place for less than 50. And most of them are like 55, 56, 57. Nobody's hit 60 yet. But
Give it
yeah,
time.
it's wicked, man. It's wicked. Yeah, give it time, right?
What about the parking fees? Any change there? Anybody else back off of that or?
No, nobody's backing off. Slowly but surely, they don't go up as fast as resort fees, but we also looked at parking and we found 6 or 7 that had raised their parking fees or reduced the number of hours. The most consequential one was Fontainebleau. Fontainebleau used to be 4 hours free for everybody. Now it's 3 hours for locals and only 1 hour for non-locals.
Oh wow.
So, and now you've got Oyo, which is, my buddies over at Oyo, as I just said, they're now charging for parking.
And
And
Oyo, that's the one that used to be Hooters back in the day, right?
correct. And it was a good parking play because it's close to the strip, but now it's
Mhm.
$20 a day, although they've got a really strange system there that I'm not sure exactly how they're tracking people to charge, but ostensibly it's $20 a day there. What's the other one? Sahara has put up gates,
Oh,
and they
wow.
haven't, instituted a fee parking structure yet. But Sahara was another long holdout at the north end of the strip, and it looks like there's going to be a paid parking set up there soon as well.
Is there anywhere on the strip that's still free?
Yeah, Treasure Island is free. Um, Casino Royale is free. Circus is free. Those are the only ones that are still free on the strip and Sahara and until Sahara switches. So
Mhm.
with the loss of Oyo, that was one of them that's no longer. So you can still find it, and especially if you're a local or if you've got higher players card thing or if you've got the credit cards from Caesars or MGM, there's your parking hacks right there.
Gotcha.
But it's quite, it's terrible because when you might find a real good deal at a restaurant, and in the review, you've got to say, we don't think you can eat here in an hour. So you've got to tack on $12 to the price that we
Yeah.
just told you was a bargain. It's a real drag, man.
Hmm. So you were talking about business sliding a bit and the deals getting a little bit better. Do you think that's going to happen with the casino games too? You think we're going to start seeing any better games or no?
I think you'll always see, we do something in the Las Vegas Advisor called Video Poker Lost and Found every
Hmm.
month. And we're always finding things going both ways. They've either, downgraded their schedules or another place has all of a sudden put in games that they didn't have before. And it happens every week. Recently, I think it was, what was it? Tuscany, maybe, that, put in some better schedules. And it's just it's the competition factor, that pushes that. And so you're always going to see that. That's not going to fluctuate so much based on business. That's just going to fluctuate on their models saying, okay, X and Y next door are doing this, so we've got to do better. And
Hmm.
you're always going to see those changes. And a good way to keep up with that is, we keep up with that.
Hmm. Is 000 roulette still spreading like the plague that it is?
Not like the plague, like a slow flu, like a slow flu or a head cold.
Hmm.
Every once in a while, all of a sudden a new place jumps in. And all of a sudden you're going from your 5.26 for 000 to like 7.69, I believe it
Hmm.
is for 000. So it's significant. It's a 50%, raise in the EV against you in the casino edge.
And now I know this happened a long time ago now, probably over a year ago, but I keep asking about it because I think they finally switched. MGM bought the Cosmo. Have they finally switched the Players Club over? Have they gotten rid of identity?
Yeah, identity's gone. It's now, enveloped into the MGM system. So
Uh,
I haven't heard about anything that they're doing in particular there that's exciting, other than just merging them. You come in, you get a new card. It's not like they give you 10 bucks or something to do it. They just give you a new card,
hmm.
as far as I know, anyway. Um, Another thing that's I think we might see more of is some of this tier matching stuff.
Hmm.
When you get to a high level in one, you take it to another, and all of a sudden, you're automatically in that area, which can then, that can mean free parking, and that can mean, other discounts. Perhaps they waive the resort fee, something along those lines.
Gotcha. And then if you haven't been to Vegas in a while, the newest casino that is open in Vegas is the Fountain Blue. It's all the way at the north end, up by the Stratosphere and Circus Circus. How's business going there?
I don't think there's been much of a change there, but for some reason they don't seem to care. I mean, they've been open a little over a year now, and the book on them has been that they don't get much play in the casino.
Hmm.
But they haven't done much to change that. They're very light on video poker. Their video poker schedules are very poor, even for the strip. And I walk through there occasionally, once every couple of months. I have no reason to go, but I'll walk through, and they really aren't getting the play on their games. Although their games aren't terrible, like their blackjack rules aren't terrible, but at high level. So we're talking about $100 minimums and things. If you're
Hmm.
looking at their $15 games, they've got some really bad rules. They're doing shoes with 6 to 5, that kind of thing. You want to steer clear of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I know when they first opened, everybody was saying that they kind of were just running it like a hotel and the casino was an afterthought. So I wasn't sure if that had changed yet.
Well, that's the way we described it, is that they don't know whether they want to be a casino or a hotel. And it looks
Mhm.
like they're leaning and still to being a hotel. I mean, don't get me wrong, what a gorgeous place. I mean,
Mhm.
it's
Oh, it's
absolutely beautiful.
immaculate.
Yes. And I know, I mean, it's stunning inside. And I know some people who have stayed there who say the rooms are terrific and the service is really great. I mean, it's like it came from Fountain Blue in Miami, which is, a
Hmm.
4 or 5 star at least, hotel. And
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
it's
way,
been there since like the 40s or something. It's like an
yeah,
hour from
yeah.
my house.
And they thought that name, that brand would carry the day for them, but not in Vegas, man. No
Yeah.
way. Same thing with Resorts World. Resorts World, I know that's one of your favorites. It's a good opportunity at Resorts World. You get in with them, and they're going to market to you because they're also underpopulated in terms of people. I've
Hmm.
said this before. I'm sticking with it. The one that I like that's keeps coming up and doing good things is Rio. And the Rio is owned by a new group now, no longer Caesars. Caesars ran it to the ground. This new group is fixing it inside and out. They keep adding things. The most recent one, they got happy hours in 3 different joints. They overlap. You can do one at 4, one at 5, one at 6, and it includes $1.50 oysters.
Oh,
Uh,
sweet.
so I just keep liking the Rio more and more.
Well, actually, so somebody I'm in a group chat with all the video poker influencers. Right before we started this, one of them was asking, "Is the video poker any good at the Rio?"
No, it's
Oh,
not. That's the one thing that they have not really stepped forward, which I thought they might. I think the best game there at dollar and up is it's not horrible. It's a 99.17, 8-5 bonus poker.
no,
That's
that's
not
not
a
good.
horrible game,
Hmm.
but it's only at dollars for quarters. It's a wasteland. There's just really not much to play. I think maybe the 98.98 double double game, which again that's not too bad if you don't mind the variance of double double.
Yep. All right. Well, I had to slip that in there from a group chat, so they'll be happy with that answer. And while we were talking about, you said Caesars ran the Rio into the ground. Any news about them trying to sell anything else or no?
Not really. It remains to be seen how they're going to react because their balance sheets have not been showing too well. That's part of their problem there.
Hmm.
Um, the problem with Caesars is they just neglect their older properties. And I
Yep.
mean, it goes for Harris to some degree,
The
certainly for
Flamingo.
Flamingo. Flamingo, I mean, we were just having lunch today. I told you Fezzik and Frank B. Blair Rodman also, who's doing a book about sports betting for us, all about sports betting. We all had lunch at the Palms afterwards, and everyone was bringing up Flamingo. Like, what a tragedy, just a tragedy based on what that thing used to be,
Hmm.
and it's just brutal. Caesar just doesn't pay any attention to it. They don't want to. They're all concerned about their mid-strip properties now. Meaning the not those, but I mean the link to some degree. Cromwell, across the street, Horseshoe of Las Vegas. They changed Bally's to the Horseshoe,
Oh, I
and
forgot about that.
yeah, and Paris. That right there in the middle seems to be where they spend their time and money, and
Oh,
Caesars, of course.
I completely forgot to add that into my list of questions, but how is the horseshoe? Has anything changed or it's pretty much the same thing since it was Bally's?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, except they put in some new restaurants, some new bars and things. They care about it. The Caesars is trying to do things there. And so they pay attention to it. And it's clean and shiny, and there's nothing wrong with it in that regard.
Did they ever bring in the 100x odds on the craps?
No, no,
Oh,
are you kidding? You ain't gonna see no 100 times odds. We're talking Caesar's Palace, bro. You ain't gonna see no 100 times odds. You ain't gonna see no $2 steak. In fact, you ain't even gonna see a $22 steak there. There's no bargain. There's no bargain in the big strip casinos. I mean, once in a lifetime, not a lifetime, but once a couple times a year, you'll run into something and go, all right, that's not a bad deal for this place. Um, Not bad at all because it's not part of that big group of Caesars and MGM is Treasure Island. Treasure
mhm.
Island's got some nice things with their bar and their sports book, their seafood restaurant there, some reasonable prices right there on the strip, free parking. They never work with us with LVA, so I really don't have any reason to promote them other than the fact that they do a pretty good job and they're a pretty fair casino in that regard.
Well, that's good. And now I guess on to the other new casino. It's off the strip though, is Durango. How's Durango doing? I know you said at first you didn't think it was going to do that well, but now that we're probably a year in, how's it going?
Oh, they totally showed me up. I mean, they have done very, very well there. They are, in the beginning of every year, we do something called the progress report and report card for the report card for the previous year and the progress report, what we see coming. And no big openings, real big casino openings are on the slate for this year. Although we just did have the opening of the newest shopping center on the strip next to MGM Grand, where it used to be the Hawaiian Marketplace.
Oh,
And yeah, that's called BLVD Boulevard. That was the big news of the big opening. But one of the biggest news pieces was that Durango is doing so well that they're going to go into an expansion mode.
oh
And
wow.
yeah, they're going to be adding some pretty big things. I think more casino space, I think additional rooms, all kinds of stuff. So they proved me wrong on that one. I didn't think that they were going to be able to pull it off, but they're smart over there, and I don't like them either. But I mean, I give them their due. They understand their demographics. They knew where they were building. They knew what they were going to bring in, and they've done extremely well by all accounts.
And now I guess you kind of just answered my next question, but the Mirage closed and they're converting it to the Hard Rock. I'm sure it's probably too early, but do they have an opening date or anything set for that or no?
Yeah, 2027. They've announced, yeah, it's not even going to open till 2027. They are completely redoing this place. And I mean, they're not knocking down everything. They're knocking down a lot, but not everything. They're keeping the old hotel, which they're going to spruce up. They're going to add that guitar-shaped hotel, which you full well know about, being in Florida.
Oh yeah, you can see it from my dad's front yard.
Yeah, and that's they're thinking that's going to be a real big deal on the strip. Take the place of the volcano. Nothing can take the place of the volcano. I'm sorry, but they dismantled just the other day. It was big news that they dismantled the atrium, that great atrium that used to be there. But the word is that they're going to reinstall it, and it's going to become a bar. It's going to become a real fancy bar with a little bit of a different look. But I'll
That could
give
be
it.
cool. That was like right when you walked in, you'd go straight and it was like a little like fake garden thing, right? With like our little river in it and stuff.
Yeah, that was the amazing thing. When you walked into the Mirage, when it opened in 1989, that was the switch flipping from old to new Las Vegas. And you walked in the front doors and you walked right into that atrium with sunlight coming through during the day. And I remember looking at that going, this is a game changer, man. And it really was a game changer. It was the start of the mega resort era when, 15 to 20 of them opened up, all the way from, Bellagio and Treasure Island and
Yeah, I
Luxor
think that was
and
in a matter of a decade, right? They all opened up pretty much.
yeah. And I mean, it was literally more than a dozen of these monstrosities opened on the strip, but it all started with the Mirage. And
Hmm.
from everything I can see, you know, with the exception maybe of Virgin, which, tried to bring in Mohegan Sun, they're now gone.
Oh,
When the
Mohegan Sun's not there anymore?
Mohegan Sun's out,
Uh,
they've ended their contract and they said no thanks and they took off. And it's being run now by their own operations group from Virgin. But
hmm.
Mohegan didn't really do anything special like a lot of the Native Americans are doing the way the casinos, like they're doing at the Palms, like they're doing, I'm sure they're going to do at the Hard Rock. I think the Hard Rock's going to be pretty great. I really do.
Oh, yeah, they've got more money than God, so I'm sure that that place is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of still a little early in the year for pool season, but there's nothing. Are there any pools that are even open year round?
They're about to open. I mean, it's amazing. They start opening in March. It's incredible. Well, I'll tell you what, today it's like 73 in Vegas.
Hmm.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, you got good weather in Florida, but for other people around the country who are watching this, they still got snow on the ground. And we got
Well, we had snow on the
72.
ground in Florida a few weeks ago.
I heard that. I heard that. What the hell, man? The hell freezing over, right?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they'll start opening the pools. The big news is the retirement of Wet Republic and MGM Grand. All right. Wet Republic was one of the first and prominent pool parties, and they've replaced it with a different theme, which is, I don't know, some sort of Jamaican beach theme or something like that. I'm not sure, but no more Wet Republic. That's so much the news. And then the pools will start opening up in March, but mostly, April and May.
And is there any more news about this baseball stadium? They tore down the Tropicana for it, and then I don't think you're actually getting a baseball team now or something.
Well, that's the big question. That's what everybody's always debating. They say, by they meaning, the people behind the stadium and Bally's, who owns that land, or well, owns the rights to build on that land. I think that's owned by Vitri or one of those, Vici, I mean, rather, one of those real estate trusts.
Yeah, the real estate.
But uh, nobody knows. And I mean, it's more than likely that it's going to be built, but there's still all kinds of wrangling going on, and nobody's sure that it's actually really going to happen. And is Bally's going to build a casino there alongside it? If it does, I think that it's chicken and egg. It's like who's going to go first, and are we going to do the other one?
Hmm.
The other one that's interesting is it's looking extremely likely that we get an NBA stadium at Rio, which is
Okay.
right across the street from where I'm sitting right now. So that would be fabulous. I'd love to see that happen. But you got this Oakview group that's built casinos all over the United States, and I think also, outside of the United States. But they really know their business, and the word is that that's more likely to be built than the baseball stadium. So that would be fantastic.
Well, talk about a curveball.
Yeah, no kidding. I know, and no one knows the answer. I mean, you talk to one guy one day and another guy the next day, and they both seem really well connected, and you get two different answers. So we're just waiting to see.
But I thought you knew everything, Anthony.
I don't. People, you know what? It's funny. When I talk to some people and they go, why would I subscribe? Why would I become a member to LVA? They go, I know everything about Vegas. I go, bro, I've been doing this for 40 years, 7 days a week, 365, and I don't know everything about Vegas. Nobody knows everything about Vegas. There's always stuff happening, right?
Mhm. You should start dressing like James Brown, the hardest working man in show business,
Yeah,
the hardest
that's
working man in Las Vegas.
I'll do that, man. I'll do that.
Um, what's the deal with buffets? We got any new buffets, or they're all still holding tight?
Actually, we do have a new buffet to promote. We just reviewed it, and it's in Genting Palace in Resorts World. All right,
Oh,
so
interesting.
it's not all right. Genting Palace is their high-end Chinese,
Mhm.
was it Mandarin Cantonese?
Cantonese.
Yeah, and they put in a buffet that runs Wednesday through Sunday. And during Wednesday and Thursday, it's just a regular buffet, Cantonese specials, including Peking duck. They carve Peking duck right there. It's like 60, I think it's $58 for the buffet. But on Friday through Sunday, they add all kinds of seafood, snow
Oh,
crab, fresh shrimp, oysters on a half shell. Yeah, what do you call it? Oh, oh, can't think of what they're called. But anyway, various seafood and the Peking duck, and good entrees, regular Chinese entrees, and it's $10 more. It's really good. We went and checked it out. We're real happy with it because most of these buffets on the high end, you're looking at $90 and up now, or right around $90. So for 50 or 60 or $65, $68, it's a pretty good deal, and we recommended it.
can you still eat there as a sit-down restaurant though? Because I went there and
Yeah.
it was phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing. You go there and it doesn't look that impressive because it's not like a gigantic buffet, but what's there is really, really good. Scallops, that's what I was trying to remember for the seafood. And most people are eating they're ordering from the menu. So that's even better because there's not long buffet lines. You just go back and forth. You get as much as you want. You don't have to wait for anything.
Oh,
And
awesome.
it's pretty strong, man. So that's the newest one for buffets.
I'm glad I asked that question. I almost cut it from the interview because it had been your answer had been no for like a year and a half.
Yeah, I know. Well, they just aren't starting new things. They are raising prices. I mean, every month we report on a new buffet has raised its price by anywhere from $2 to $5.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this one's a pretty good deal. Then you can get an all-you-can-drink wine add-on for like 25 for the
Oh, that's
first
super cool.
or 35. Yeah, and it's good wines. So I mean, this is one's worth doing. We took my nephew just turned 13 years old, lives in Southern California, and my brother and he came out, and I took him there for his birthday. I brought him a cake. I mean, it was great, and the kid went crazy. He was absolutely loving it,
Oh,
for his
awesome.
birthday dinner.
What about shows? They still real expensive?
The shows are super expensive. I mean, the shows are over $100, but that's the other thing we got going with our member rewards book. If you're a person who wants to go to a show, you're going to want to look into what we're doing because we now have we've always had like the magic of Jen Kramer, which is a good one at Westgate. We've always had discounts on like Illuminate and some of the shows at Stratosphere. But this year we've got Penn and Teller, 50% off. We've got World of Wonder, wow, at all of these at the Rio, 50% off. More reason I like the Rio. Comedy Cellar there. And we're in talks with literally the biggest shows on the strip right now to do deals with us. And the funny thing about that is when one falls, they'll all fall. No one wants to be first. No one wants to discount their shows and be first. And they're telling us, you can't, we'll do this with you because we like your customers and we need the counts. We need to bring people in, but we don't want you advertising it. So the only people will know will be the people who are our actual, members.
Mm.
And, and we don't want to be first. You tell us when you get somebody else. So we'll get somebody else. And then we're going to have a lot. And people who want to see shows, there's $100 saving right there. You get 50% off for two people, and you're going to be saving 120, 130 right there.
Awesome. And the last question I got to ask for my dad while he's out of town. How is the Sphere?
The Sphere, this is another thing, very timely stuff you're asking me that we just wrote the numbers in LVA, and they broke every record. They literally broke every record ever that this group that was a Billboard, Billboard does the computations. And the the amount of money they brought in killed everything. Nothing had ever been close to it before. Yet, because it's such an expensive operation, you still hear that they're kind of like right in the middle of actually being able to start turning a profit. So they're making more money than any concert venue or event venue in the entire world by a factor of 3, probably, or maybe 4. And they're still having trouble turning a profit. So, it's good and bad there.
That's crazy. I
Everybody,
know the last few times I went, I think I went like 3 times in a year, and every time I happened to be there, it was while Dead and Company was in their residency, whatever you call it. And no, it didn't matter where you went, there were people all in Grateful Dead merch. So I imagine it's very, very popular.
yeah. Well, everyone I've ever talked to who's gone to see any show of any kind, all the way from the travel show that's just their filler to these top level concerts, say I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I got a buddy who travels literally the world following bands and seeing concerts. And yes, he's a Deadhead, follows them like, religiously. And he saw him here. He said, I've seen them in every show and every venue that they could possibly see. And he goes, I've never seen anything like this. So it's that good, man.
Awesome. Well, Anthony Curtis, thank you very much for joining us. As always, it's a pleasure. If people want to learn more about you and your work, where can they do that?
LasVegasAdvisor.com. I mean, that's the thing. Or check out our YouTube channel. Just go in there and look for Las Vegas Advisor. By the way, we're switching it up too. Like you guys, experimented with different things. Whereas we always did a weekly update 3 times a month, and then we do a Beer Friday, which was a live stream, and we
Mhm.
sit and drink beers and get pretty screwed up while we do the show, right?
Mhm.
Now we're doing a monthly update. So we're only doing the news once a month, usually right after the newsletter comes out. Then we're doing a guest or guests like we did with Fezzik and Frank B today. Then we're keeping Beer Fridays every third Friday. And then we're going to try something different. I'd be interested in your opinion on this. We've been doing a jackpot of the week for years. We're going to do one show of only jackpots, where we're going to show jackpots with photos and with video that people send in, and we're going to break them down, right? We're going to break them down and talk about what they were playing and did they play it right and what was the story behind it. And there's a little gambling lesson, probably a little gambling lesson involved, but mostly it's going to be we're going to show people winning big jackpots. We'll see how that goes.
That's awesome. That sounds like a great idea.
We shall see. We'll see.
Well, Anthony, as always, thank you so much, and I'll see you in another month or two.
That sounds great, man. Thanks, Matt.